Yo, what's up guys? I got another fun deck tech for you today. Now, I've played close to 600 ladder games on Season 2 trying to brew up everything, and my conclusion so far is that purple is just clearly the front runner for best color in the format. A part of me wants to grind red-purple matches all day and try to climb to rank 1, but I think the early season of a new set is much more fun trying to brew and beat the best decks in the format. So, I want to cover the not so popular red-yellow package. And today, we're playing around with Mufasa. And he leads to some of the most hilarious and dramatic gameplay. And since we're playing Mufasa, we have to include You Have Forgotten Me, of course. Cause, sure, there's deck synergy, but then there's also thematic synergy. And what's more synergistic than dad blasting someone, followed up by playing the dad himself? And we could consider his kid Simba, but this is not part of his story today, so not today, son. Okay, so to compete in the meta, every deck needs a draw engine. Blue-red has a Popsicle and item draw engine, purple has Rabbit Bounce and Friends, Steel Song has Wheel and Stitch engine, with a bit of Ariel and Storm Rage on, and discard decks have, I guess, Prince John, which is why they're just kind of meh. So does yellow-red have a card advantage engine that can compete with all these other monsters? Well, in set 2, it does. Rapunzel's always been an incredibly strong card, but her draw was somewhat conditional upon combat interaction in set 1. Now, red introduces Mother Gothel. Turn 2 Gothel into Rapunzel and draw 3 while having board development? Yes, please. You want to play it safer? Then you can wait till turn 6 and Rapunzel Gothel together. Rapunzel wants one of your characters to get hurt, so she can draw you cards. That means it's a slam dunk Teeth and Ambitions include if I ever saw one. You know who hurts himself a lot too? Maui, so easy 4 of there. But the deck only has 4 Rapunzels though, right? Wrong. We're playing 6 because we have 2 Dinner Bells. Still not enough? Well, we also have 4 Be Our Guest. We're going to find this Rapunzel in our games as if our life depends on it. But the deck only has 4 Be Our Guests, right? Wrong. We're playing 7 because bam, we have 3 Ariels now. And Ariel can also grab the teeth. Already, this deck is coming together quite nicely. Check this out. Turn 3 Ariel to find Teeth and Ambitions. Turn 4 Sing Teeth on Ariel and Rapunzel and draw 2. That is a beautiful combo. And let's add 4 Surfer Stitch to that, cause more card draw never hurt anyone. Well, except Surfer Stitch, who's definitely gonna hurt your opponent. At this point, I think our deck draw engine is very much set. But we might as well throw in a couple Hades to get back your Rapunzels or Stitches or whatever else you need. So for early defense, we're running 4 Mini Mouses, or Mini Mice. She's got that great synergy with Teeth and Ambitions. And for a 3-drop slot, aside from Ariel, we're also running Mr. Smee. Listen, the metagame right now revolves around the number 3. We got Snake Mims terrorizing the early game in every other match, Fox Mims, we got Queens and Rabbits, Enchantresses, Smash, Storm Rage On, etc. Smee's baseline stat is actually super resilient in the current meta. One of the only 3-drops that can't be taken out by Fox Mim. And at 2 power. He can't take out the tough 3 characters in the meta, but the thing is, he really doesn't have to. As soon as he hits the board, your opponents have to play around Rapunzel, and they stop dead in their tracks from attacking. As an alternative to the 3-drop slot, I would also strongly consider Piglet, Doc, and to a lesser extent, Mulan or Mickey. You can also go with Minnie Mouse Evasive with Pongos and BLT package if you want to try a more aggressive variation. For mid and late game domination, we of course are running 4 Be Prepareds, the best red card in the game. Maui also obviously makes the list, as he becomes even better with Rapunzel and Dinner Bell. Lady Tremaines, along with a couple 2-drop Lady Tremaines just for kicks. And our magnificent dragon. Just like many red control themes I've discussed on this channel, we want to survive early game, draw a bunch of cards, wipe the board, and then start plopping down our finishers and removal. Oh, I also included 1 Abomination Stitch just for fun, and I rotate test this spot between him, Aladdin, 1/6 Mickey, BLT Mickey, or Scar, among some other stuff to see what I want to try and play in the future. But never lose sight of the ultimate objective of this deck, which revolves around making your opponent sweat profusely with the extremely dramatic Mufasa deaths. Now, I remember watching The Lion King as a kid and being absolutely on the edge of my seat during the Mufasa stampede scene. Mufasa dies, and it was incredibly emotional and dramatic. Sorry for the spoilers. And true to the lore, in Lorcana, Mufasa's death is just as dramatic as ever. Ideally, we want Mufasa to be reborn as a magnificent dragon. And if your name is Top Deck Zefa, this will actually happen roughly around 50% of the time. Have you guys ever killed one of those pesky rabbits and get annoyed when the opponent draws a card off of it? Well, imagine how annoying it is if you kill a Mufasa and your opponent gets a 7/5 dragon off it while also killing your best character on board. Mufasa's death never fails to deliver in entertainment. Mufasa can also just come right back to life by finding himself. He can hit an Ariel who can then hit a Be Prepared, which is also pretty hilarious. He can hit a Surfer Stitch, which can draw you 2 cards. And he can hit a Mother Gothel, who you can sacrifice to Dinner Bell or who Rapunzel can swoop in and heal. Or he can hit a Minnie Mouse, which is equally hilarious. Your opponent casts a Be Prepared, obliterating everything on sight, and the sole survivor of the fallout is a lone Minnie Mouse. And if you want to go for the ultimate ironic line, you can find a Scar with Mufasa to avenge his death. So yeah, this deck, off of the dramatic Mufasa triggers alone, makes it worth trying out. Now before we jump into gameplay, I do also want to mention that Ducky has been recently playing a flute song version of Red Yellow that runs a similar core draw engine package. So I think this Rapunzel Gothel Teeth core of Red Yellow is legitimate, and you guys can build whatever Red Yellow deck off that foundation if you want. I'll provide a link to Ducky's Twitch below if you guys want to check out some of his interesting Red Yellow gameplay. But for now, let's just jump into our games. Okay, in this first game, we send away 2 dragons and a surfer. We want to hit those later with Mufasa, so back in the deck you go. Probably could have kept the Maui though. I ink Minnie Mouse and say go. I could probably play this Minnie for a turn 2 teeth, but nowadays a lot of people are playing 1/3s, so I'd rather save her for ink if possible. Unfortunately, my opponent puts a Pascal out, so I regret not playing Minnie. I decide to put out my Minnie Mouse on my turn 2 and hope for a Pinocchio on his turn 2, which I would want to teeth and then trade with Pascal. But of course, he has the typical snake bounce on turn 2, making my Minnie play kind of bad. I put out a Smee turn 3, and this should discourage him from questing into a potential turn 4 Rapunzel. He puts out a second snake, and our boards sort of just stare at each other. I have really nothing to do on my turn, so I go ahead and put a Dad Blast on his hand. He counters with a rabbit, drawing a card, and on my turn, I just ink and stare back at his board with my Smee. Meanwhile, I am setting up for a Surfer Stitch into a Sing Be Prepared line if he overcommits. He does some more rabbit bouncing shenanigans that purple seems to love to do these days to draw cards. And then on my turn, I go ahead and draw some cards of my own with my Surfer Stitch, the OG rabbit. I get the Dad Lion and a Dinner Bell, so I should be able to find opportunity to draw a bunch of cards soon. My opponent smartly anticipates a Be Prepared from me and quests in. On my turn, I set up to draw some cards off Smee Dinner Bell and Sing Be Prepared. My opponent, by the way, played this really smart by readying his highest power Fox with LeFou to deny me an extra card off of Dinner Bell. My original version was running Lantern, but I've cut those out of my deck in favor of more Mufasa hits. I clear the board by singing Be Prepared with Surfer Stitch, and my opponent is up on cards and 7-1 in lore. But I have my draw engine online, and I really like my yellow-red endgame. He plays too many mice, and I wipe them away with a Be Prepared. He plays Pascal, and then he plays Yzma, drawing off of his own Pascal. Now, I could Dragon his Yzma, but I decide I need to start applying some pressure, so I go for a double Mufasa drop. He drops a rabbit and a spellbook, which is a super annoying card as we have no way in yellow-red to deal with it, and it puts us on a definite clock. On my turn, I play Ariel and Smee, putting pressure on him to do something about my board. We're ready to gamble with our Mufasas if our opponent wants to gamble along with us. He Yzmas his own rabbit and decides he's not quite ready to roll the dice, and he passes his turn back to us. That's too bad, as if he had killed a Mufasa, we could have gotten a Hades on board grabbing back a Surfer Stitch. It's always fun to see with this deck what could have been on your draw step. On my turn, I Hades back a Surfer Stitch, and I play it, drawing into absolute gas of double Lady Tremaine. He has to have a Be Prepared here, or else he'll just lose. My opponent starts off by killing my first Mufasa with his Yzma, most likely setting up for a double Mufasa kill into the Be Prepared. Let's gamble on the Lion King's death. Place your bets. Bam! Magnificent Dragon. Can't kill my second Mufasa now. Send me that Dad Blast gift. Okay, so he Be Prepares my board, and off my second Mufasa I get a Mother Gothel, which goes right into my dinner bell. This deck is just too funny. He then goes and plays an Arthur. On my turn, I attack, play Lady Tremaine, and I draw 3 off Mother Gothel. I then play another Gothel to show him the business again next turn. On his turn, he goes full card draw mode, playing Friends, Rabbit, and Maleficent, and hitting for 1 with the spellbook. I swing in again and draw 3 off Gothel. I mean, just look at all this gas. There's no way red-purple wins from this state, unless the deck is just broken or something. I decide to play Ariel and whiff, which makes sense since I'm holding 3 teeth in my hand. Then I use one of the teeth to take out his Maleficent to slow down his lore clock. He Maui's on his turn to take out my Tremaine, and quests in with Rabbit and plays Tremaine, killing my Ariel. I decide to Dragon his Tremaine and teeth his Maui. In retrospect though, I think double teething his Rabbit would have been better, as the Rabbit is going to generate 1 lore, and I could also draw 4 cards next turn with Dragon if he doesn't deal with it immediately. I make a lot of play mistakes with this deck, but when you're new to a deck, that's pretty expected, and you just sort of learn from your mistakes. He Tremaines my Dragon, and quests with Rabbit, and hits again with the spellbook. Uh-oh, this one's actually getting to be pretty close. I clear the board with Be Prepared and drop Rapunzel to try and raise his spellbook. He Tremaines again and drops Maui to protect against my Tremaine. I Dragon his Tremaine, and on his turn, he Dragons my Dragon and again hits for 1 with the spellbook. Yo, I'd like to have a word with whoever thought giving purple all the tools was a good idea. I clear the board again with Be Prepared and play Hades to grab Smee so I can cast him this turn to put out some lore pressure. But he has unlimited gas as he plays another dragon, and we can't beat such an insane amount of gas while facing a spellbook clock. So unfortunately, we end up losing this game. Oh well, can't win them all. Even though we lost, I thought the red-purple matchup was very winnable and close, and it certainly felt like it was a good game, so I'm not discouraged about this deck's performance for now. In fact, I actually do think I might have cost myself the game with the turn 1 non-mini play and the missed double teeth on my dragon. Alright, let's move on to game 2. Here we're facing against another purple deck. Sorry that my first turn footage is cut off as I forgot to hit the record button. This time we play a Minnie Mouse on turn 1 and face a Pascal on my opponent's turn 2. See? We're a very quick learner. I go ahead and teeth it on my turn and swing in for 1. This can be extremely disruptive to Purple's tempo on turn 2 if they were planning on dropping Madam Mim Snake. He inks a smash and passes, so we're against Purple Steel. I actually do think Purple Steel is a great deck to play in this metagame, either classic control variant or my Yzma wheel deck I posted a couple of videos ago. Let's see how this deck fares against that deck. On our turn, we play Be Our Guest and find Dad. He's got a very disappointed look on his face. Classic Dad. He plays out a Benja, and then on my turn I decide I don't need 2 Rapunzels if I have Dinner Bell, so I go ahead and draw 2 off my mini after inking Rapunzel and playing 1. He plays a Merlin Rabbit, but both my draw 2 rabbits are superior. Honestly, I shouldn't have inked the Surfer, but I just wanted to double Dad Blast him. I go ahead and play out the Dad. Does he want to gamble on this game with a smash? Let's play a game of smash or pass. And my opponent chooses pass. He instead chooses to hit my Rapunzel with a rabbit and a fox to kill her off while drawing a card, and then quests in with a Benja. Now, I could just ignore all this and just quest in with Mufasa and play another one, or hit Benja with Mini and sacrifice her to draw cards. But honestly guys, I'm just here to roll some dice, so I go ahead and kill off his Benja with Mufasa, and then I sacrifice my Mufasa to Dinner Bell to see what I roll. It's another magnificent dragon, guys. 2 games in a row. This deck is just way too fun. Turn 6 dragon, draw 2 cards, and kills his last character on board. And then my opponent just gives up. How can you guys not want to play this deck after seeing this? Alright, game 3, we're against Jacques, who's a good player. He's playing green steel discard, and he actually is coming off a win against us in a pretty close game. But we don't show losses on this channel, guys, because losing is for losers. It goes Flynn, Ariel, and Tinkerbell. Thank God for no turn 3 John. Discard decks become so weak when they don't land the turn 3 John. So yeah, that's one of the pitfalls of playing discard decks. On my turn 4, I got the Ariel Teeth Rapunzel line, and I take out his Flynn Rider while drawing 2 cards. On his turn, he shifts Tinkerbell and decides not to kill my Ariel and damage my Rapunzel. He's playing around both Rapunzel and Maui this way. Yo, when did players get so smart? In set 1, everyone was just bashing their guys straight into Rapunzels and straight into defeats. On my turn, I go ahead and put the Dad Blast on him, asking him, who's the discard deck now? He discards 2 Prince Johns, and on his turn, he plays a Prince John. Turns out, he did actually have the Prince John start, but he had no discard effects. On my turn, I play Lantern and Rapunzel, as I don't have much else going on, and I go ahead and draw 1. Again, this was around my 4th game with the deck, and the list at the time was running 3 Lanterns, which I've now taken out. Don't want my Mufasas to be hitting Lanterns, you know. Again, I offer up my Ariel to his Tinkerbell, but he declines. He instead swords and quests in. Well, unfortunately, this allows me to double team his John with my Rapunzels, and I draw 3 off a Dinner Bell I was holding in hand. And I draw double Hades. Absolute gas. He plays a John Silver on his turn, but after realizing how huge my hand is and how badly his discard deck failed to discard any cards from my hand, he saves us both time and concedes the game. I made the discard deck discard more cards than I did. Okay, last game. Here we're up against Mr. RMB, which I like to tell myself stands for renminbi, which is the Chinese currency. I like to entertain the thought that he literally named himself money, so shout out to the People's Bank of China, I guess. He's been playing a lot of Steel Song, which is perfect for this video, as this covers most of the metagame matchups for the deck. He's got a turn 1 Queen, and if we play this Mother Gothel, we could be running right into turn 2 Shift Queen with Song Storm Range on. But I got nothing better to do, so screw it. And, yep, RMB has it. He kills my Gothel and draws a card. A guy named Money making a play that generates profit. Who could have ever seen this coming? On my turn, I drop a Smee on D.
Defense!
He plays Lantern, Simba, and quests in with his queen. This opens him up to offer me 2 cards with my Rapunzel. Unfortunately, this will not be that great if he wheels away my cards I draw next turn, but I don't really have an alternative plan, so I go ahead and bash into Simba and heal to draw 2. On his turn, he finds Ariel finding strength, inks it, and sings 0 to hero and wheels, setting him up with 3 future ink for his next drop. By the way guys, I think playing 0 to hero as a 1-of in steel wheel decks is a really nice addition for some extra explosiveness. And I found out after this game that RMB has been playing it as a 1-of. So basically, we got absolute nut high rolled by steel wheel this game. He drops Emo Beast and passes. But the real Emo Beast here is me. I sing Guest with Smee searching for a Mufasa or even a Maui 5-drop to kill his queen, but I brick. I kill his Simba here with Rapunzel, but I should have just sung Be Our Guest again and really dug hard for the Mufasa or Maui, so I don't know why I decided on the Ariel line. Tragically, our hero becomes more emo as I drop Ariel and whiff again. I finally play Be Our Guest and find a Maui, but the entire sequence was just a bit sad. RMB nukes my board and wheels away my hand. And now I need to hold on for dear life as I try and get ready for a turn 7 Be Prepared. I play Gothel Rapunzel to draw 3 cards to set me up for the post Be Prepared apocalypse. RMB shifts Stitch and swings in with everything, getting ready for a board wipe. And finally, on my turn, I play my Be Prepared. The chaotic board is now empty, and we're at 3 to 12 lore. But we have a much better endgame and more cards. As long as he doesn't have a 3rd wheel, we can definitely win this. On his turn, RMB drops Stitch, Robin Hood, and Ariel. I play Gothel Rapunzel and draw 3 and hope he doesn't have the 3rd Whole New World. But Mr. Money is just too rich. He drops a Cinderella on board and wheels all our gas away. This is basically the nut high roll for Lantern Wheel, so if we can beat him here, this Mufasa deck is 100% legit in the meta. Well, at least we wheeled into our 3rd Be Prepared. We go ahead and clear this board and wait to see what goods he has in store for us. He plays a Rockstar Stitch along with a Simba. Well, I see your kid Simba, and I raise you a disappointed dad Mufasa. I Ariel and find our 4th and last Be Prepared. He plays Tinkerbell Swords and wipes my board, and it's time for Mufasa to show them the business. Show him how it's done, Dad. Magnificent Dragon once again. Yo, this gives a whole new meaning to the phrase Dad Blast. RMB forgot to consider attacking with his Rockstar Stitch here first before wiping the board, cause, well, nobody plays Mufasa in the metagame. On my turn, I allow Magnificent Dragon, Spirit of Mufasa, to discipline his kid. And then, I play Hades grabbing Lady Tremaine to take out the Tinkerbell. On his turn, he goes Stitch, Cindy, Ariel. presenting lethal lore on board. On my turn, I decide to Dad Blast him to leave him with 1 card in the tank. I play Surfer Stitch, and I refuse to draw 2 cards, as I have 9 cards in my deck. He has 1 whole new world left in deck, and I'll be damned if I let myself get milled while I'm employed by Miller Lite as Chief Brewing Officer. I take out a Cinderella with my Hades, denying him a Cinderella shift win, and now he's 1 lore short of lethal. And, god damn it, he's got the last wheel. I got 2 cards left in deck, so I got 2 turns to win this. RMB drops a small Cindy Stitch and Ariel, and quests to 18. I do have my secret only 2 of Lady Tremaines in my deck, just for this moment. Remember I said that this Mufasa deck is extremely full of dramatic moments? No joke, guys, a server restart was about to happen on this very last turn. If I stall long enough, the server is literally a minute away from crashing, and we could both take a draw. But if I do that, Dad would be so disappointed in me. No, we're gonna make Dad proud. I don't want to draw. I suck at drawing. Since I'm under server crash pressure, I don't think my turn through. The correct play, I think, would have been to dragon his Cinderella, as I think he's gone through most of, if not all of his Rockstar Stitches in his deck. And then I should play Lady Tremaine to drop him down to 17 lore, and kill off his Rockstar and Ariel with my Hades and Dragon. But in my rush to beat the server crash, I decide on double Tremaine into Hades, into shift Tremaine, leaving him both Cinderella and Stitch outs to win the game. We hold our breath as we wait for the moment of truth. We can't lose this game, like I said earlier, because losing is for losers. Does he have the shift? Meh. Of course he does. He's Mr. Money over here. And I guess the life lesson learned here today is, no matter what you do or how hard you try, dads are always going to be disappointed in you. Shout out to RMB, by the way. He also streams on Twitch, so go check it out. He's got a great energy and fun vibes all around. I'll leave a link in the description below for his channel. And also shout out to all my viewers for staying around this long to watch me lose. Until next time.
Tell them who is responsible for Mufasa's death.
I am.